Welcome to Mythic War Zone, the ultimate destination for epic battles between legendary heroes and villains from Marvel, DC, and beyond. The sky cracked with fire as an entire world trembled beneath an unstoppable force. Doomsday had arrived. The massive, bone-plated monster ripped through the last defenses of Zeltor 9, a once thriving civilization that spanned across 7 planets. Its people were technologically advanced, but lacked the raw power to stop the living engine of destruction that had descended upon them. Cities crumbled beneath his unstoppable charge. Entire continents shattered under the weight of his devastating strength. The war fleets of Zeltor 9 fired every weapon they had, from ionized pulse cannons to gravitational imploders, yet nothing so much as slowed the beast. With every blast, he grew more resistant, his biology adapting at a terrifying pace. What had started as a desperate battle turned into a massacre. On the fringes of the system, an ancient force stirred. Bruce Banner, or what remained of the man he once was, sat cross-legged in a meditative trance aboard a drifting asteroid. His muscles, even in this state, pulsed with latent energy, and the very rock he sat upon trembled beneath him. He had long since abandoned Earth, venturing into the farthest reaches of the cosmos where his power could no longer be a threat. But he felt it. The cries of an entire world on the brink of annihilation. Their fear resonated within him, and the rage it sparked was undeniable. His skin darkened to a deep emerald as his eyes snapped open, glowing with contained fury. The air around him warped as he rose, the sheer heat of his presence melting the surface of the asteroid. He had sworn not to interfere, not to bring destruction in his wake. But this was different. This was a monster that only he could face. The last echoes of Bruce Banner's hesitation faded as a single thought consumed him. Doomsday would fall. The clash began the moment Hulk entered the devastated cityscape of Zeltor 9. Buildings still crumbled, and desperate survivors fled the rampaging force of nature that was Doomsday. The monster turned, sensing something it had never encountered before. Something that could rival even its endless hunger for destruction. A rumble filled the air as Doomsday let out a roar that shattered the nearest ruins. Hulk stood firm, unfazed, his massive frame radiating green energy that cracked the ground beneath him. The air itself seemed to buckle under the weight of his presence. And then, without warning, they charged. The first collision sent shockwaves across the entire planet. 2 unstoppable forces meeting with the power of dying stars, their fists cracking the sound barrier 1,000 times over in a mere instant. Doomsday's claws raked across Hulk's skin, drawing the first blood. Hulk barely registered the pain as his own fist struck true, sending Doomsday flying through several kilometers of cityscape, leveling what remained of a once great civilization. But Doomsday rose unfazed. This was a creature that had killed Superman, a beast that could not die. But Hulk was something else entirely, a force of nature that only grew stronger as the battle raged on. Doomsday attacked relentlessly, his movements faster than anything a creature of his size should have been capable of. He lunged at Hulk, tearing at flesh, breaking bones. But with every blow, Hulk's power surged. His healing factor repaired what was broken, and his rage compounded his strength. Every time Doomsday sent him crashing through mountains of debris, Hulk rose angrier, more powerful, his strikes shaking the very core of the planet. The fight took them across the ruins of Zeltor 9 into the upper atmosphere and beyond. They crashed into moons, shattered floating fortresses, and carved wounds into space itself. Doomsday adapted, his body evolving to counter every attack Hulk threw at him. His bony protrusions grew denser, his muscles swelled, and his already immeasurable strength doubled. But Hulk was not just a brawler. He had learned. His time wandering the cosmos had refined his instincts, his ability to read an opponent's movements. He dodged where before he would have taken the blow, countered where once he would have merely endured. He let his rage guide him, but for the first time in centuries he controlled it. Doomsday roared in frustration. It had never encountered something it could not simply outlast. For the first time in its existence, it faced an opponent who was growing stronger, not weaker. And then the balance shifted. Hulk stopped holding back. He planted his feet into the shattered remains of Zeltor 9's largest continent, his fists clenched so tightly that the very molecules around them ignited. A deep, guttural growl escaped his throat as the air turned thick with radiation. His eyes, now burning with raw cosmic power, locked onto Doomsday. And then he moved. His punch was no longer just a strike. It was a cataclysm. The impact created a shockwave so powerful it obliterated the surrounding landscape, vaporizing entire mountains in an instant. Doomsday reeled, the unthinkable happening. He stumbled. Hulk didn't stop. He struck again and again, each blow breaking apart the monster's reinforced bones, tearing through his adaptive defenses. The World Breaker had been unleashed. Doomsday fought with all its fury, but Hulk no longer cared about defense. He let the monster land every blow, let its claws sink deep, its fists crash against his skull. None of it mattered. He had passed the threshold where pain registered. There was only the fight, only victory. Hulk wrapped his arms around Doomsday, lifting the beast skyward. With a single leap, they left the shattered remains of the planet behind, entering the void of space where Hulk did what no being had ever managed before. He broke Doomsday. With a roar that sent ripples through the void, Hulk crushed the creature in his grip, his arms locking around its torso with a force beyond comprehension. Doomsday's struggles weakened. His roars turned to strangled growls. And then with one final, universe-shaking flex, Hulk snapped Doomsday's form in two. The monster's body disintegrated in the cosmic winds, its legendary regeneration failing against the sheer magnitude of Hulk's wrath. There would be no return, no adaptation. Hulk had not simply killed Doomsday, he had ended him. As the last remnants of the monster drifted into nothingness, Hulk breathed heavily, his body still thrumming with the unleashed power of a world breaker. Below him, Zeltor 9 was gone. Its people, what few remained, would have to rebuild elsewhere. He had saved them, but at what cost? The void around him was silent. There was no applause, no celebration, just the weight of what had been done. Hulk closed his eyes. He had won, but he had also unleashed something within himself that he was not sure he could ever contain again. With a final glance at the ruined world below, he leaped into the darkness, seeking the solitude that had become his only peace. Doomsday was gone, but the legend of the battle would live forever. And somewhere in the vast, cold reaches of the universe, the echoes of the battle still reverberated, whispering that even the mightiest monsters could fall.